Anger built in my chest, contained like a filling tank. I held it back for the long game. In the doorway, I faced the woman I'd carried through storms, who held my hand at my father's funeral, but who'd let our daughter go cold and hungry for her pride. Watching her beg and cry, I realized this was about Lily's safety, not revenge. Melissa had chosen herself, career, reputation, over our child for years. Now she wanted me as her safety net. But I was no longer her husband. I was Lily's father first. I looked at her desperation and regret one last time, then closed the door with a quiet click. No drama, just the strength to walk away and protect what mattered.
Right, buckle up for this absolute car crash of a marriage story, eh? Before we dive into the chaos, smash that like and subscribe button, because you're gonna need the emotional support of a community after this one. So there I am, standing in my kitchen like a proper muppet, drying dinner plates like it's just another Tuesday. Spoiler alert, it wasn't just another Tuesday. My wife Melissa is posted up by the sink, arms folded, lips pressed into that tight line that screams, "You're about to get absolutely wrecked, mate." Her eyes won't even meet mine when she drops the bomb. I want a divorce. The towel in my hand hits the floor. I'm frozen like someone just unplugged my brain. "What did you just say?" I manage to croak out, because surely I'm having a stroke or something. Her gaze finally lifts, cool as a bloody cucumber. "You heard me, Jason. I'm done. Can't do this anymore. You're stuck in the past, and I'm tired of dragging the future along on my own." Stuck in the past? Mate, I'm standing there doing the mental meth. 5 years. 5 whole years I put my life on hold so she could finish law school. Night classes while I handled bedtime stories. Networking weekends while I meal prepped like I was training for the Olympics. I even sold the house my old man left me, the only thing he ever gave me that mattered, to cover her tuition, because apparently student loans weren't aesthetic enough for a vision board. "I gave up 5 years so you could chase your degree," I said, and I can hear my voice shaking. "Sold my dad's house for your tuition." She didn't even flinch, just stands there like I'm reading her a weather report. "And I appreciate that," she said, all corporate and detached. "But I'm not the same person anymore. I've worked too hard to stay small for someone who refuses to grow." "Stay small? I'm sorry, what?" I took a breath, tried not to lose my absolute mind. "You mean someone who stayed to build a home, someone who raised Lily while you chased promotions like they were the last helicopter out of a zombie apocalypse." That one landed. Her jaw tightened like a vice. "Don't you dare throw Lily into this. You think being present is the same as being right." "She's our daughter," I said, and honestly I was trembling now. "She deserves stability, not your idea of a personal brand makeover." "She's my daughter too," Melissa snapped, "and she's coming with me." My heart just dropped, like straight through the floor. "You've already decided." She picked up her wine glass, because of course she had wine mid-argument, very on brand, and sipped without flinching. "I can provide the better life, Jason. I have the income, the house, the connections. What do you have?" Then she hit me with it. Guilt. That word was a dagger straight to the chest, mate. I actually stepped back, feeling the room shrink around me. This isn't just about ambition, is it? This is about erasing who we were, everything we built. She didn't answer, just turned and walked toward the hallway like the conversation was over, like I was a meeting she'd just adjourned. And maybe it was over, because all I could picture was Lily sleeping 2 rooms down, completely clueless that her entire world was about to implode. I didn't sleep that night, just sat at the kitchen table in the dark like some tragic film noir character, staring at the cold ring her wine glass left on the counter. Dramatic? Maybe. But when your marriage detonates in your face, you're allowed a bit of melodrama in it. Let me introduce myself properly. Name's Jason, 41 years old, construction foreman. Grew up in Montana, where men are men and emotional vulnerability is considered a myth, like Bigfoot. Settled in Spokane, Washington, because apparently I hate myself and enjoy gray skies. Most days I wake at 5 a.m., lace up boots that have seen better decades, and pour coffee into a metal thermos I've had since Lily was born. It's dented, scratched, probably contains trace amounts of lead, but it's mine. I'm not rich, not even close. Not flashy, I'd drive a truck that's one bad winter away from becoming a lawn ornament. But I've always kept my word, always showed up, always did the bloody work. And now I'm watching the woman I built an entire life around trade loyalty for leverage like we're in some corporate merger and not, a marriage. But this isn't the end, not even close. This is just the bit where the protagonist realizes he's been playing checkers while she's been playing 4D chess. The next morning, the house felt wrong, too quiet. Melissa had already left, probably to work, maybe to avoid watching the emotional fallout like it was a reality show she didn't sign up for. The air still smelled like her perfume, that expensive stuff that lingers longer than bad decisions. I stood outside Lily's bedroom door for what felt like an hour, but was probably just a minute, trying to find the right words. Spoiler, there are no right words for "your parents are imploding." "Lils," I said softly, knocking. She opened the door halfway. Already dressed in jeans and a hoodie, long brown hair in a messy braid she'd clearly done herself. No music, no earbuds, just her eyes, wide and uncertain like she already knew something was massively wrong. "Want to go for a walk?" I asked. She nodded, no questions. That killed me more than anything Melissa had said. We drove to Riverfront Park in complete silence. She stared out the window, hands in her lap, chewing her thumbnail the way she used to when she was little and scared of thunderstorms. It absolutely tore me apart. The sun was out, but it was one of those pale winter mornings where light doesn't mean warmth, just illuminates how cold everything actually is. The river moved quietly beside us as we walked, ducks drifting past like they didn't have a care in the world. Lucky bastards. The carousel stood still in the distance, closed until spring. Everything felt paused, waiting. "Is it something I did?" she asked suddenly, still watching the river. That stopped me dead. I turned to her. No, sweetheart, it's not you. It's..." I paused, searching for words that wouldn't traumatize her. "It's between your mom and me. Grown-up stuff, and I'm so sorry you're caught in the middle." She gave a small nod. "She told me a little last night, said it's been coming for a while." I swallowed hard. Even hearing that second hand felt like a punch to the throat. We sat down on a bench beneath a bare tree, the kind that looks skeletal in winter, alive technically, but distant, waiting for better days. I took a breath, had to say it properly. "Your mom and I are getting a divorce. That means we won't live in the same house anymore, and for now, you'll stay with her." She nodded, didn't speak, just processed like she was downloading a file she didn't want. I kept going, trying to keep my voice steady even though inside I was absolutely losing it. "It's not because I want to leave you. You're the most important person in my life, Lily. Always will be. But right now your mom has the house, and the court's probably going to agree with that setup." "Do I get to decide?" she asked, finally looking at me with those eyes that were way too sad for a 14-year-old. "Eventually," I said gently. "But for now, this is how it has to be." She looked down at her shoes. "It still sucks." A painful smile tugged at my mouth. "Yeah," I said. "It really, really does." We sat in silence for a long minute. Wind brushed past, lifting dry leaves across the path like nature was trying to sweep away the awkwardness. It didn't work. "Will you still come to my piano recital?" she asked, voice smaller now, vulnerable. "I wouldn't miss it for anything. Even if you have to fly in?" I nodded. "Even if I have to swim." That got the tiniest smile out of her, and for a second the sun actually felt warm. "I know you're trying to be strong," I said, pulling her close, "and I'm proud of you for it. But you're allowed to feel this, all of it." She leaned into me, resting her head against my shoulder. "I feel like everything just cracked." I wrapped my arm around her, squeezing tight. "Me too, kiddo. Me too." What I didn't tell her, what I couldn't tell her yet, was that I'd already applied for a job up at Alaska.
that I'd been lying awake running numbers in my head, calculating tuition, food, rent for when I'd eventually fight for custody. That I'd started setting aside every dollar I could in a hidden account, squirreling it away like a paranoid doomsday prepper. She didn't need that information, not yet. She just needed her dad here, present, not planning his escape route or his legal strategy. We sat on that bench for ages, just listening to the river doing its thing, and for a few quiet minutes the world actually held still. No lawyers, no moving trucks, no wine glasses leaving rings on counters, just a dad and his daughter watching ducks paddle past, pretending everything might somehow be okay. But deep down, I knew it wouldn't be okay for a long time. I knew Melissa had the upper hand, the house, the income, the connections. I knew the court system favors mothers by default, especially ones with law degrees and nice blazers. But I also knew something Melissa didn't. I wasn't giving up. Not on Lily. Not ever. If she wanted a war, she'd get one. Just not the loud, dramatic kind. The quiet, methodical, documentation-heavy kind. The kind where you smile, nod, sign the papers, and then systematically dismantle someone's entire case with bank statements and timestamps. Patience, mate. That's the real weapon.
The office smelled like citrus floor polish and fresh ink, that expensive, sterile smell that screams, "We charge $400 an hour." Too clean, too bright. One of those upscale legal firms with abstract paintings that cost more than my truck, and expensive silence hanging in the air like a threat. I sat across from Melissa at this long walnut conference table. The divorce papers were laid out in a neat stack between us, like we were finalizing a house sale instead of, ending a life together. Very romantic. Should have brought flowers. Melissa was pure confidence. Hair freshly styled, lipstick sharp enough to cut glass, soft gray blazer that probably cost more than my last 3 paychecks. She sat with one leg crossed over the other, scrolling on her phone while the paralegal organized documents. Didn't even look at me. Then she dropped this absolute banger. "Well," she chuckled, "at least now I can finally lose the last 180 pounds. The lawyer, a thin, precise man named Rothman who looked like he'd never smiled in his life, didn't laugh. Neither did I. Melissa smirked, flipping her pen. "Come on, Jason, don't pretend you didn't see this coming. I mean, honestly, you haven't really been here for years." I didn't respond, just kept my eyes on the paper, reading each clause with forced calm. Custody, temporary maternal primary, financial support, balanced for now. Nothing final, nothing I couldn't fight later. But everything in her posture screamed she thought the battle was already won. Cute. When she noticed I wasn't reacting, her tone shifted. "No last words?" she asked, leaning in. "No tearful speech about how I'm making a mistake?" Still nothing from me. Just clicked my pen and started signing. One page, then the next. Neat, controlled signature. That seemed to irritate her. She tilted her head, lips twitching. "Wow, not even flinching. You're either in shock or finally learning to bottle those little outbursts of yours." I set the pen down gently, our eyes locked, and then I said it, calm, quiet, but sharp enough to stop the room cold. "If Lily cries even once because of you, you'll regret it." Her smirk froze, completely vanished. I didn't raise my voice, didn't blink, just let the words sit there like a warning sign planted in concrete. Rothman glanced up, first crack in his professional armor showing. Even the paralegal paused, pen hovering mid-air like someone had pressed pause on reality. Melissa's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Her bravado faltered for just a breath. Then she looked away, stared down at the documents, tapping her nails on the table in this nervous rhythm. "Don't be dramatic. She's fine," she muttered finally. I stood up, slid the signed pages across the table. Better hope she stays that way. Without another word, I walked out. My boots echoed through those pristine halls like gunshots. Very cinematic, very satisfying. Out in the hallway, I paused at the window, hands in my pockets, watching people pass below on the street. Sky was that muted blue that promises absolutely nothing. Just another cold Spokane afternoon. I didn't feel like I'd just lost something. No crying, no dramatic breakdown in the parking lot. I felt like I'd just started counting, building a case, documenting everything. Melissa thought she'd won. Bless her heart. It was still dark when we pulled up to the airport curb, those soft pre-dawn hours where everything feels quieter than it should, like even time is holding its breath before everything goes sideways. Lily didn't say much during the drive, just stared out the window, hugging her backpack to her chest while I white-knuckled the steering wheel, pretending I wasn't memorizing every moment, every blink, every breath, every last second before everything changed again. I parked, killed the engine, sat there longer than necessary. "You okay?" I asked. She nodded, still not looking at me. "Yeah." We both knew that was bollocks. I grabbed my duffel from the back, then pulled her suitcase out too. Not because she needed help, just needed my hands busy so I wouldn't completely lose it. We walked into the terminal together. Place was already humming, families heading to Disney, business travelers half asleep clutching coffee like life support. Somewhere overhead a baby screamed. The world didn't pause for our goodbye. Rude, honestly. At security, I turned to her. "I'll video call as soon as I land, all right?" She gave me a tight nod, eyes glossy. I crouched down so we were eye level. "Hey, this is temporary. I'm not disappearing." Her voice was soft but steady. "I know." I pulled her in, held her close. Her arms wrapped around my neck and she squeezed like she didn't want to let go. Ever. "I'll miss you so much, Dad," she whispered. The burn in my eyes was immediate. "Me too, baby girl. So much." I kissed the top of her head, stepped back, forced the lump in my throat to stay down. She wiped at her cheeks. "Don't freeze to death out there." I gave her a crooked smile. "I promise nothing." She tried to smile back, but it barely made it. Then I turned, walked towards security, and didn't look back. Couldn't. If I looked back, I'd never bloody leave. Alaska didn't welcome me gently. The wind up here doesn't just blow, it assaults you, slaps you in the face and steals your lunch money. The cold sinks straight into your bones like it's setting up permanent residence. You work hard or you freeze. That's the deal. And honestly, after everything back home, the simplicity of that made sense. I signed on with a construction outfit in Fairbanks, framing and welding for a new hospital wing. Money was good, better than anything Spokane offered. I bunked in a prefab cabin with a space heater that groaned all night like it was dying, walls thin enough to hear every gust outside. Cozy. Most mornings started at 5 a.m., pitch black like the sun had given up entirely. Most nights ended with my hands too stiff to text until I'd sat over the radiator for 10 minutes like I was defrosting a chicken. But I made sure to write her every single day. "Hey Liz, wind almost knocked me into a snowbank. Miss you like crazy. Got assigned to steel today, my least favorite, but overtime means more for your college fund. Put 400 pounds in this week. Every frozen toe worth it." Her replies came in the evenings, little stories from school, snapshots from home, a selfie in her new hoodie, one I'd ordered online and shipped straight to her. Then one that made me pause. "Mom's been kind of stressed lately, snapped at me for using the stove. It's okay though." That one sat with me longer than I liked.
It was close to midnight when my phone buzzed. I was half asleep in the cabin, curled under a pile of mismatched blankets that smelled vaguely of industrial detergent. The heater rattled in the corner like it was clinging to life by a thread. Outside, wind screamed against the walls, but I'd gotten used to it. White noise and the life gone too quiet. The screen lit up. Lily. I swiped fast, sitting bolt upright. "Hey, are you awake? Sorry it's late. I didn't want to ask, but can you maybe send a little more money this month?" I blinked, rubbed my eyes. She never asked like that. Never. "Of course. Are you okay?" No reply for a few seconds that felt like years. Then, "Yeah, I'm fine. Just stuff's tight, and Mom said we gotta wait on extras right now. She's trying her best." Then a photo came through that absolutely gutted me. Her sneakers, once white, now gray with dirt, the sole peeling back from the toe like a mouth half open. In the corner of the shot, I could see the hem of her jeans, frayed, too short,
worn impossibly thin. Another photo. Her winter coat, a rip near the pocket, stuffing poking out. She'd tried sewing it. I could see the uneven stitches, the effort. I stared at the images, phone heavy in my hands like it weighed 1,000 pounds, heart sinking into my stomach. Why didn't you tell me sooner, sweetheart? Did your mom see this? Long pause. Then, please don't get mad at her. She's been really overwhelmed. She said we'll get new stuff soon. I just didn't want to bother you, but my feet are starting to hurt in these shoes. That last message cut straight through me like a knife through butter. I swung my legs over the side of the bed, boots still by the door from work. Fingers moved before my brain caught up. $300 sent. Then another 100. Then new shoes, new coat, tomorrow, no waiting. Got it? Thank you, Dad. I'm sorry. Love you so much. I stared at the screen for ages, thumb hovering, unsure how to respond to that. She shouldn't be sorry. Not for needing basics. Not for asking her father to step up. Not for being 14 and growing and cold and bloody scared. I got up, went to the tiny desk in the corner, flipped on the lamp, spread the photos out on my screen again, zoomed in. Those weren't one-time wear and tear accidents. This was neglect. Weeks of it, maybe months. And Melissa hadn't said a single word, not one update. No, things are tight, no heads up, no honesty. I leaned back in the chair, old wood creaking. The heater sputtered beside me, doing its best. My hands were warm with anger. This wasn't about shoes anymore. This was about trust, about what was unraveling beneath the surface while Melissa played successful businesswoman on social media. If this is your kind of story, smash that subscribe button, because it gets darker. The wind had died outside, but inside my chest, the storm was just getting started. I sat at that tiny kitchen table, Lily's photos still open on my laptop, and called Melissa without hesitation. No polite text warning, no "Hey, can we talk?" Just action. She picked up on the third ring. Her face flickered to life under dim lighting. Tired, hair up in a messy bun, sweatshirt loose on her shoulders, that confident polish completely gone. "Jason," she said, voice guarded. "It's late. What's going on?" I didn't waste time. Flipped the camera, held the phone up to my laptop screen, one photo at a time. Lily's shoes, Lily's coat, the frayed jeans. Melissa's face twitched. She stayed silent. "You want to explain this?" I asked, voice low, controlled. The kind of calm that's actually more terrifying than yelling. She blinked, swallowed. Where did you get those?" "From your daughter," I snapped, "at midnight, apologizing to me for needing shoes that don't split at the toe." "Jason, don't—" "You told me she was fine. You told her you'd get new clothes soon, and instead, you let her walk to school in this." "She didn't say anything to me," Melissa said quickly, rubbing her temple like she had a migraine. "She didn't say her shoes were that bad." "She's a kid," I said. "She shouldn't have to say anything." Melissa looked down, camera tilting, hand covered her mouth. "I've been behind on a few things," she admitted quietly. "Business dropped off hard after New Year. I'm barely covering utilities. I thought I could patch things together." I narrowed my eyes. Patch it together with what? Her child support? That's for her needs, Melissa, not your office lease, not your nails, not your reputation. "She didn't spend it on that," she said quickly. "Not intentionally. Things piled up. One month led to another, and so you took her support money and let her patch her coat with dollar store thread." Melissa's voice cracked. "I didn't mean for it to get this bad." "No," I said coldly. "You meant for me not to notice." She went quiet. Long, heavy silence. Then she finally met the camera again, eyes red. "I messed up," she said softly. "I know. And maybe I deserve whatever you're about to do. But I'm asking you, please just come back." I blinked. "What?" "I can't fix this on my own," she said, desperation creeping in. "Lily misses you. I miss—" She stopped, swallowed. "We need help. I need help. There was something desperate in her tone, something I hadn't heard in years. The mask was cracking. I'm not your safety net, Melissa, I said, voice sharp, but I'm Lily's, always. She nodded slowly. I know. I'll be back in 3 days, and when I get there, we're talking in person. She looked down. Okay. I ended the call without another word. Then I just sat there, staring at the frozen window, watching my reflection blur in the frost. The cold outside was nothing compared to what I was feeling now. 3 days later, I was sitting in some trendy downtown cafe with chalkboard menus and fake plants. Neutral ground, public, no room for theatrics. I got there early, nursing black coffee that tasted like burnt regret. Melissa arrived 10 minutes late, stepping in with a cautious glance. She looked smaller. No blazer, no heels, just jeans, a coat, and defeat. Thanks for meeting, she said, sliding into the seat across from me. I didn't answer, just nodded once. She folded her hands on the table, glanced around like she was stalling for a better version of this conversation. I guess I'll just say it, she started. My business is gone. Said it flat, no build-up. I tried holding it together, she continued. Loans, credit cards. I used rent money once, thinking I could flip it the next month. Then it snowballed. Clients dropped off. Marketing didn't work. I didn't want to tell anyone. She swallowed hard, avoiding my eyes. So I used Lily's support. At first just a little, then more. It kept us in the apartment, kept her in school. I figured I'd catch up before you noticed. And you didn't, I said. She shook her head. No. So she walked around with holes in her shoes because of it. Melissa's mouth quivered. She gripped her mug like it might anchor her to reality. She didn't tell me, Jason. I swear, I didn't see. You live with her. I leaned forward, voice cold and steady. You look her in the eye every day. Don't insult both of us pretending you didn't see. Her shoulders collapsed, that tight poise gone completely. I was ashamed, she whispered. I sat back. No, you were proud. There's a difference. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. I'm sorry, she said finally. I know that doesn't fix it, but I am. I've made a mess. I need help cleaning it up. I raised an eyebrow. You think I came here to clean it up? Her voice dropped. I think you came because you still care. I care about Lily, I said. That's why I'm here. Her throat worked. What are you going to do? I stood, tossed a few dollars on the table. She looked up at me like she already knew. Now I act, I said quietly. Then I walked out. Door swung shut with a soft click. The lawyer's office wasn't fancy. No leather chairs or espresso machines. Just a clean desk, filing cabinet, and a woman named Dana Holloway who didn't waste time. She skimmed through my folder, bank statements, flagged transactions, screenshots of missing deposits, and the photos. Lily's shoes, her coat, every stitch of evidence. Dana looked up. This is bad. For her, I said. She tapped her pen against a withdrawal. This one right here, child support deposited, account overdrafted by the 10th, not a single purchase related to Lily. You've got a paper trail of neglect. I need custody, I said. Dana smiled, the kind lawyers give when they're holding a winning hand. Then let's build a case. We filed an emergency custody petition, flagged financial abuse, submitted every photo, every timestamp. By the time I left, dusk had settled over Spokane, sky glowing burnt orange. I headed back to my short-term rental above a hardware store. It wasn't much, but it was clean, had space for Lily's books, a second-hand keyboard I'd picked up in case she wanted to practice. I was heating soup when the knock came. Firm, repeated. I opened the door. Melissa stood there, tears streaking her makeup, coat open like she'd left in a rush. Jason, she said, voice breaking, please, please don't do this. I didn't answer. I know I screwed up, she continued, stepping closer, but not this, not this. She reached for me. I didn't move. She's all I have left, Melissa said, voice shattering. "You take her and I don't know who I am anymore." I felt anger rising, steady and slow, but I kept it locked down, just stared. "You have every right to hate me," she whispered, "but please don't take my daughter." "She's our daughter," I said quietly. "You just forgot that." Her knees buckled. She grabbed the doorframe. "I'm begging you, Jason." I looked at her one last time, the woman I used to carry through storms, who once held my hand through my dad's funeral, who'd now let our child go cold to protect her pride. Then I closed the door. No slam, just a quiet final click. I locked it. Behind me, soup boiled over, but I didn't move. Just stood in that kitchen, hearing her muffled sobs fade into silence. Court always smells the same. Old carpet, cold air, tension you could cut with a knife. I sat beside Dana, same calm mask I'd worn for weeks fastened tight. Inside, everything throbbed, but you don't show nerves in front of people who want you to break. Melissa sat across from me, alone, no lawyer, just a trembling hand on a folder that looked far too thin. The judge, broad-shouldered man with silver hair and a no-nonsense tone, called us to order. Case 412B, custody review. Jason Tyler versus Melissa Tyler. Dana rose smoothly. "Your Honor, we're submitting bank records, transaction logs, and photographic evidence of material neglect showing misuse of funds designated for the minor child." She handed over a thick file. Melissa shifted. Her legs shook beneath the table. Dana continued. "We'll also submit text messages and photo evidence of worn clothing and unmet basic needs." The judge scanned the files, then addressed Melissa. "Mrs. Tyler, do you have counsel today?" "No, Your Honor," she said quickly. "I couldn't afford it." He didn't flinch. "Do you dispute the accuracy of these records?" She hesitated. "I made poor decisions, but I love my daughter." The judge nodded, turned back to Dana. "Anything else?" Dana nodded. "Supplemental discovery, Your Honor." She handed him a second file. Melissa went pale. Inside were Venmo transactions, flagged purchases, and an email from her bank. Funds labeled as Lily's support transferred to Gregory Watkins, Melissa's boyfriend. "These records show," Dana stepped forward, "that support funds were used to pay his car insurance, phone bill, and at least 2 plane tickets. One corresponds with a weekend when Lily told her father she was left alone." The courtroom went silent. Melissa's hands flew to her mouth. "I didn't mean, it wasn't like that. He just needed help." "Enough," the judge held up his hand. He closed the file slowly, looked down at us. "In light of the evidence, this court grants full physical and legal custody of Lily Tyler to her father, Jason Tyler." Melissa gasped. "Furthermore, Mrs. Tyler is ordered to repay $6,200 in misallocated child support and pay monthly alimony to Mr. Tyler for 1 year." I didn't move. Melissa slumped in her seat, eyes glassy. As we left, I walked past her without a word. She didn't reach out, didn't meet my eyes. Outside, wind was sharp, but for the first time in months, I felt warm. Real warm. Snow had started melting in Fairbanks. That counted as full-blown spring up here. Icicles dripped from rooftops like ticking clocks, and the air held just enough warmth to make you believe in second chances. Lily was outside on the porch, hunched over a beat-up sketchbook. Her cheeks were pink from cold, but her eyes sparkled when she saw me through the window. She was different now, not louder or more grown, just lighter, like some invisible weight had slid off her shoulders and stayed where it fell. Her new school was smaller, quieter. She'd made friends. Her violin teacher said she practiced more than anyone. Math grades jumped 2 full letters. She laughed more, slept deeper, smiled without checking the room first. I stepped outside with 2 mugs of hot chocolate. She took hers without looking up. "She has your nose," she said, smirking. I blinked. "Who?" "Amanda." She glanced up. "And your eyebrows, just a little more symmetrical." I laughed. "You're terrifying." Lily shrugged. "I observe." Amanda was inside helping with lunch. We'd only been seeing each other a few months. Started slow. She was a wildlife biologist with quiet humor and calm that studied rooms without trying. "She asked about my art," Lily said, flipping a page. "Didn't just nod and smile, actually looked at it. That's because she likes it. Most adults fake that part." I sat next to her, elbows on the railing. Not her. We were quiet. Wind moved through trees, no longer bitter, just cool and alive. "So," I asked, "what's the verdict?" She leaned back like a judge enjoying power, then grinned. "She's cool." My chest loosened. "Are you sure?" Lily nodded. "Yeah, she listens. Doesn't treat me like some tragic character in a movie, just talks to me. That's important. More than that," she said. "It's nice." I ruffled her hair. She protested, but didn't pull away. Inside, Amanda peeked through glass and waved. Lily waved back without hesitation. We weren't rebuilding the past. We were building something new, and this time the foundation was solid. I've been thinking a lot about Melissa, about that moment she stood outside my door crying, begging me not to take Lily away. Did she deserve another chance back then? Or did I do the right thing shutting that door? Here's the thing. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes stability matters more than history. Sometimes protecting your kid means walking away from someone you once promised forever to. Melissa made her choices. She chose her career, her pride, her boyfriend's car insurance over our daughter's basic needs. And when it all collapsed, she expected me to be her safety net. But I wasn't her husband anymore. I was Lily's father, and that role came first. Would I do it differently? Maybe I'd have caught the warning signs earlier. Maybe I'd have documented sooner. But shutting that door? Standing my ground in court? No regrets there. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same thing. Let me know what you would have done in the comments. And if this story hit you somewhere deep or just made you angry, smash that like and subscribe button. I've got more stories to share, and trust me, they get darker.